Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Knight of Squares and this is Warhammer Total War 2 multiplayer. As always, if this is your first time joining me, welcome. If not, welcome back to another episode from the KoS Championship tournament. Today we have some battles for you between Balian97 and KoS. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into the first one of those and I will see you in a moment. So first off, we have Wood Elves versus Lizardmen, with Balian playing Orion with 4 units of Eternal Guard with Spears, 1 unit of Deepwood Scouts, 4 units of Way Watchers, that's a lot of Way Watchers, and 2 units of Wild Riders with Shields, versus KoS with Gorok and Krokgar, Krokgar and Gorok, 3 units of Shield Infantry, 2 units of Skinks with Javelins, 4 units of KoS Riders and 1 with Spears, so that's 5 units of Cavalry and 2 Bastillodon Solar Engines. A very mobile force here from KoS, centered around those Cold War Knights with a relatively solid core infantry force backed up by some decent artillery fire. Versus Balian, who's got the 4 units of Eternal Guard to give him kind of some real staying power, as we've seen in other games with the Wood Elves. They've got some real staying power, although without life magic to keep them going, perhaps less so. Then they've got a huge amount, like 4 units of Way Watchers, just a huge amount of range potential. Couple that with the unit of Deepwood Scouts as well. There's a lot of ranged potential here and some flanking forces from the Wild Riders. So immediately pause that because I can see over here some stuff going on immediately. There is nothing again in the Wood Elf deployment because it's all over here. So here are the 4 units of Eternal Guard with Shields and the Orion himself. And then everything else is all the way over here on one flank. So we've got the Deepwood Scouts and then 4 units of Way Watchers hiding 2 units of Wild Riders with Shields. Now, the Deepwood Scouts and I believe the Way Watchers have already fired. You can see the arrows starting to fly here. So we'll have a look at what happens there in a moment. We've got Cold One Riders, Krokgar, Skink with Javelins, Saurus Warriors in the centre, backed up by the 2 Bastillodons, then the other Skink cohort, and the other 3 units of Cold Ones over here, including the one with Spears. So some nice flanking forces around a solid block in the middle. So we'll see exactly how that goes in a moment. I'm gonna come watch these arrows fly, and we're gonna unpause. So in they come, and they absolutely shred those Cold Ones. Like half HP, no models down, but half HP straight off the bat. And then models start dropping. The unit absolutely shredded. KoS really quick off the mark to get the rest of his army moving into them though. Like immediately, these units of Cold One Riders are here. Krokgar is in the middle with Swiftness of Itzel, plus 36 speed, and some explosion there to really start hurting things. The Wild Riders have tried to engage. The first unit of Cold One Riders has completely shattered. There are 9 guys left. Hand of the Gods from Krokgar didn't quite do anything. I think it got stuck on a tree. But the dinosaurs are chasing these Wild Riders and all the while just getting shot by these archers. The Bastillodon Solar Engines, again, not doing a huge amount. They've done a little bit to damage to those Way Watchers. But Krokgar is just eating arrows here. The trees are saving him from a few, but the infantry are arriving. Orion has cast his hunting hounds onto the Skinks, and then Hawk's Talons raining down as well. Done a lot of damage, but Orion is starting to take some javelin shots. I don't think he's going to be overly concerned, but he's there. These solar engines need to... So the dinosaurs have chased most of the Wild Riders. They've not killed many of them, but they've definitely chased them around, and then they've got in and amongst the archers. The Way Watchers, frightened by enemy units and getting munched on. The Deepwood Scouts, unfortunately, are starting to lose a lot of models. They're getting munched on a lot there. And the various dinosaurs are just chasing down each unit of archers and engaging them and stopping them from doing anything. if Kordav can shut down most of these missile infantry, I think that's probably GG, because Balian has invested so many points into these ranged weapons that if the cavalry can just shut them down without the Wild Riders really sort of getting in their faces, it could be a huge thing. But 2 units of the Cold One Riders have broken. The Wild Riders are still looking relatively healthy in the middle, and the archers are still plunging shots into them. Krokgar is trying desperately to shut all of the units down, but it's not going hugely well for him. This unit of Cold One Riders is angling for these Deepwood Scouts, and they'll probably break them at this point and potentially chase them off the field. Krokgar is in and amongst these Way Watchers, happily munching away. He is regenerating, but not a huge amount, I don't believe. And these Way Watchers are going to see him off if he's not careful. They really need to get some support into Krokgar. He cannot handle that all on his own. There's some more of these, but they're so winded and tired now. Meanwhile, the infantry fight is going exactly as you'd expect, actually. And here comes another Hawk's Talons from Orion onto the Skink cohorts. It's difficult to micro this many things. It's really difficult to micro all of this. Where is Orion? These poor Eternal Guard are just getting solar engined to death, and then javelins. Like, it's a lot of damage coming into these poor Eternal Guard. They really don't want to be here, and these Saurus warriors with shields are really difficult to maneuver, really difficult to remove. Double solar engine blast breaks that unit. And the spearmen, and there is the Hounds of Orion going through those Skink cohorts with javelins just in time for the Eternal Guard to charge in and try and keep them occupied. He wants to be careful, otherwise he's going to run his own men into it. Another unit of broken Cold Ones. These guys are back, but Krokgar, I think, is dead. I think Krokgar has died. I can't see him anywhere. There is Orion, but I think Krokgar has fallen, unfortunately. I think he is no more. He's either run off the map or died in the attempt somewhere. Looking for a Carnosaur corpse. I can't see one, but these units have rampaged into the back of these Way Watchers. The Way Watchers have been absolutely stellar. Kordav unable to properly shut them down despite a huge amount of cavalry. The Wild Riders were just able to get in the way just about enough, and army losses are beginning to kick in for the Lizardmen. Everything is breaking. The amount of firepower is insane out of those 4 units of Way Watchers. Big armoured Bastillodons, largely not that concerned about Way Watcher fire, but they can't handle Orion, the big anti-large armor piercing, into the cavalry, which are also damage dealing. They're not are they anti-large? No, they're frenzied. But one Bastillodon is not going to make it much longer. The other one is already broken. And I think that is going to be the setting in of army losses. Everything in the Lizardmen army is either broken or breaking. And that's that. Let's have a look at the end play. That was a really good play by both players. It was a really good game. Lots of use of the cavalry by Kordav. These solar engines probably paid for themselves in the lives of Eternal Guard. 167 kills from Orion. I think most of them were on Skinks, honestly. The Wild Riders did great. The Way Watchers did great. That was a really good, solid play from both players. They kind of almost anticipated each other's army compositions and both countered it. It was a really weird, double counter. It was really, really interesting to watch. So that's 1-0 to Balian, and we will now move on to the next battle, and I will see you in the loading screen. So, both forces square off against each other, and you can't even see on the mini-map these units in the back, but they have started to move. They are on the way, and I don't know if Balian has even noticed them. He's a little focused on his own micro at this point. He's sending all 4 units of Knights Errant out, then the Knights of the Realm, and the mounted yeomen are running forward, probably to eat some of those shots. And the first unit of knight errant loses like 5 models to a shot from the Necrofex straight off the bat. It is really rough. That was brutal shot. And he's going to fire again. And another 3, I think it was about 8 guys just dead. And then little cannon shots occasionally. He's going to fire in again. Blow another 5 guys just dead. That unit is really struggling at this point. Oh, the Pit of Shades catches the unit of Knights Errant and just absolutely shreds a few of them. That's brutal. That unit of Knights Errant has lost 7 men in that pit. That is, ugh. A little clip there. Didn't do potentially as much as Cordav wanted, but the Knights Errant, the Mounted Yeomen have broken already, but then they were rallied by King Lewin, who is in and amongst these Depth Guard with polearms, which is not where he wants to be. Definitely doesn't want to be dueling Noctilus. He is also anti-large. Now, he is causing terror as well, so there's that. But units of Knight Errant charging into polearms. These hand cannon mobs need to be firing because at the moment they're just getting sandwiched. Absolutely brutal. The units of Knights of the Realm charging into the Necrofex, doing a little, not a huge amount. And some spells coming down here. Oh, that's brutal. That's a unit of Hippogriffs basically dead. Noctilus, happy as Larry. He looks fine. These Depth Guard with polearms are already crumbling. Like, Luankur is just eating them alive, and these units of Knights Errant have completely eviscerated them. The Scurvy Dogs are obviously starting to crumble. Nobody's really surprised. The Pirate Gunnery mob have stabilized, and if they get some shots off, these questing knights might just get evaporated, but instead they've come charging back in. The 4 Hippogriff Knights are coming back in, but the Necrofex is just stamping on dudes. There's just not a lot that they can do about it. This guy's just getting murdered left, right and centre, and they're cycle charging from these Knights of the Realm, one after another after another. Noctilus is again dueling King Lewin alongside 2 units of Depth Guard with polearms, which is not where Lewin wants to be. There's a couple of units here. The Micro is really good, but is starting to struggle as there's just so much going on in this fight. And the Mongols have been discovered all of a sudden out of the blue, and the Knights of the Realm are coming in to deal with them. But they're not going to be a huge boon here, but they are freeing up the Necrofex Colossus and helping to pincer in these Knights of the Realm. Here come the Questing Knights to deal with the last of the Depth Guard. But sandwiched in a volley by those hand cannon mobs. It's not looking amazing for the Bretonnians here. The Sword of Corone has gone down, so there's a lot of melee defense lowering going on here. But at the same time, the hunger is keeping Noctilus alive, and as well as these Depth Guard. Lowen is not looking hugely healthy. He is still regenerating, so he's got some of that left to go, but the Necrofex, stable, happily just wandering about, still got so much ammo left to just launch into people. I'm not sure why these guys are on fire. Not sure why they're on... Oh, they were a summoned unit. That's why. Summoned units are the bane in this situation because they can just block charges and everything. They're really good. Lowen is broken. The King of Bretonnia flees the battle with only 300 health remaining. The Necrofex is sizing him up. Nah. More spells coming down from Noctilus, absolutely ruining that unit of Knights Errant. He's got Arcane Conduit, getting him some more of that. More questing knights coming in, but Noctilus is having none of it today. Some warriors rallying around the battlefield, but everything in the Bretonnian army is either broken. Lewin has rallied. There's not a lot of this. There's not a lot left for the Vampire Coast, but it's probably just about enough to deal with whatever the Bretonnians have got left. It's like a half dozen knights in different squads, left, right, and centre. A invocation of Nehek to heal up these depth guard with polearms to really deal with these Knights of the Realm, who are the only anti-large that I think has got any chance of dealing with the Necrofex Colossus. It is wavering, it's on a critical binding, but the Knights have broken to the depth guard. I think they're all dead, actually. And that's it. That is the defeat for Bretonnia. What a game. What a game. So that puts us at 1-1 for these two players. The Necrofex killing 77 Knights. The depth guard did amazingly. 34, 83, and 153 kills. 21 from the gunnery mob. Some fantastic kill numbers here. 186 kills on this unit of questing knights, 72 on the other. The anti-infantry questing knights did great. The Knights of the Realm spent most of the game trying to fight the Necrofex, so they didn't get the chance to get some of the big kill numbers that they could normally achieve. But 42 is pretty respectable still. The Mounted Yeomen, bless them, I think they ran in, a gunnery mob shot them to bits and they ran off again. So Loan spent the entire game dueling Noctilus. What a game. So we will have a third round and we'll go into that now. So I will see you in just a moment. And here we are finally. We have Karl Franz with Reichlin Runefang and Galmaraz. 4 units of spears, 2 units of swords, 4 units of handguns, 1 of each demigriff, and 2 rocket batteries. This is basically the exact same list we've seen from Balian in his last Empire game, with absolutely no variation at all. So, pretty standard stuff there. However, from Cordav, we've got Musalon of all things. I don't think I've ever seen Musalon played. You've got the Red Duke, 4 units of Cav, 5 units of Black Knights, a unit of Blood Knights, 2 units of the Dire Wolves, and 3 units of Vargeists. This is an insanely mobile force. He can basically hit wherever he feels like. I feel like these Hellstorms are going to do a lot less damage now that everything is mobile in this list. They tend to be better against the slower moving infantry blocks. But in this case, they're not going to have a lot of juicy targets. These Blood Knights are a little terrifying, I'm not going to lie. A unit of Blood Knights is a little bit scary to hit. They have got demigriffs with halberds, but the regular demigriffs are not going to do as much. And we'll see how it goes. But first off, let's have a look at these deployments. Exactly what we would expect from Balian. This has worked time and time again with his Empire list at this point. Swordsman, spear wall, handguns on both sides, couple of Hellstorm rocket batteries, Karl Franz, and the demigriffs either side. Halberds on one side, regulars on the other. Nice box in which to have Karl Franz buff everybody and the rocket batteries to just fire out. And then flanking forces with the handgunners. Leaves them a touch exposed, but they tend to move in and everything moves out soon. So over here for Cordav, we have the Red Duke himself, spellcaster, armored and shielded, melee expert, very fast. He has an insane weapon strength of 560, 110 armor. He is a beast, along with all of the necromantic spells. He is an absolute beast. Let's get a look at him. He is an absolute machine. Look at this guy. What a beautiful model as well. Like, what a beautiful model. Spells-wise, we are looking at things like El Sif, which is a weapon. The Potion of Strength, he's got the whole thing. Spell of Leeching, not going to be Foe Seeker, Wind of Death. He's got the full Raise Dead, Gaze of Nagash. Yeah, he's got the full thing. Along with the Hunger, which restores 4 hit points a second while in melee. he regenerates at quite a rate. Then the Blood Knights, formerly often Bretonia's best cavalry, now turned into vampires. They also have the hunger, so they regenerate. Although they don't appear to have the hunger. My apologies, they do not. That's probably their biggest weakness in that case. They do not regenerate, which is probably fair given that they're anti-large, frenzy, 6,960 health. Then just waves of Black Knights from Bretonia. They are beautiful. Look at that. Just as far as the eye can see in both directions, units of Black Knights. Finally, the Vargeists are up here, all in with their yellow mohawks. And as per the last battle, all the way over here are the 2 units of direwolves trying to get into the honeypot that is this box back here. So without further ado, let's get going and let's see how this goes. Immediately, as in the last game, Cordav is immediately running in with these direwolves to try and get into the tasty treats that are hidden in the back here. The Hellstorms are woefully inaccurate, doing basically no damage with that first volley. Launching a second wave, and again, woefully inaccurate. 1 rocket hits the Duke. Aside from that, there's been 4 Black Knights killed, and immediately Karl Franz is coming straight in for the Duke. Like, he is absolutely coming for him. Cordav might want to pull these Blood Knights and just get him, but he's come so aggressive at this point. The Knights are going for these handgunners, but they're getting shot to hell and back in the process. The Red Duke is dueling Karl Franz, and it is going badly. The Red Duke is Potion of Strength, Elsif onto Karl Franz, but he's popped Galmaraz, Foe Seeker, Stand Your Ground, and he's just absolutely mincing the Red Duke. Like, he is absolutely getting shredded. The units of Black Knights over on this flank are not doing hugely well. Not doing hugely poorly, sorry. They've got into everything. They are cutting up. I think that Hellstorm's doing more friendly fire at this point than it is enemy. They've broken both units of ranged weapons. They've killed 1 unit. Over on this side, we are into the Hellstorm rocket battery with these Vargeists, but they're not attacking. There we go. The Demigryphs have killed the dogs. Shock horror. Nobody surprised there. But the Knights of the Blood Keep are absolutely mincing these Empire State troops. The Red Duke is gone. That's it. The Red Duke has fallen. The Red Duke has been slain by Karl Franz. I believe that's him there. He's dead. Dead and gone. This unit of zombies just chilling here, not really doing a whole lot. And now, I'm not going to lie, I don't see a whole lot on this field. Maybe the Blood Knights. If the Blood Knights can stay alive, there's not a whole lot on this field that can defeat Karl Franz at this point. The Blood Knights are in here somewhere. There they are. They need to be dealing with some of the... with Karl Franz, really. And these handgun units are going to get absolutely run over. The Vargeists are in to the State Troopers. The Demigryph... both units of Demigryph Knights are here now. The Black Knights charging back in, but they're all anti-infantry, so there's not a lot to deal with these Demigryph Knights. I think it's just, at this point, it's just the Blood Knights that can deal with the large units like Karl Franz and the Demigryph Knights. I don't see how they really survive this, honestly, but they are looking relatively healthy with a full binding. The handgunners have been absolutely slaughtered. Charging into the back of these spear walls. They're going to absolutely mince most of this. But the Blood Knights really need to be looking to destroy things like these Demigryph Knights, and especially the Knights with halberds, wherever they've gone. Demigriff Knights with halberds. I think they're over there. Or are they all dead? Are all the Demigriffs with halberds dead? No, they're there, look. There they are. This is a mincemeat over here. Over there, Karl Franz is feeling pretty healthy. Let's quickly have a glance over here. Most of the Empire forces over here are not doing overly well, but Gal Maraz and it just makes Karl Franz absolutely destroy Black Knights. The anti-large bonus that he gains there just absolutely shreds Black Knights, and they start crumbling. And then he rallies a boatload of his men with the Reichland Runefang. And it just, yeah, I don't think those Black Knights are going to do much longer. And that's looking like it. The Blood Knights are barely hanging on. There's 19 of them left. Their binding is crumbling. What a play from Balian, just running down the neck of the vampires and just slaughtering the Red Duke, honestly. He just murdered him straight off the bat. Took no prisoners, flew in, popped all the buffs, and just murdered him. Meaning that the Red Duke killed nobody. The Black Knights got a lot of kills, but it was mostly on state troops. Whereas the Demigriffs got a lot of kills on these high-value cavalry units. The Blood Knights getting nearly 100 kills is pretty nice. The Vargeists did surprisingly well as well. Overall, a really good game. Well done to Balian97 for that. That is 2-1 to him. And fantastic games to play. I hope you enjoyed watching them. It was really, really enjoyable. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow.